If you ever thought that sharks were perfect predators with powerful and terrifying shapes, then imagine beginning to dive deeper into the ocean, where everything you know about sharks gradually becomes distorted and bizarre. Familiar bodies begin to deform, their heads elongate into incomprehensible shapes, and teeth appear in places they shouldn't exist, as if nature is no longer trying to create perfect hunting machines, but instead creatures that make you shiver. So what is really happening as you go deeper? And why do these sharks become terrifying in a completely different way? Normal surface sharks. In the water layers near the surface, sharks are almost the standard model of a predator, with streamlined, agile bodies optimized for speed and power. Typically like the Caribbean reef shark, which can grow over 3 meters long, swim fast, and hunt effectively. Everything about them is logical, with no redundant or strange details, because in this environment, simply being fast, strong, and precise is enough to survive. And this is also where the image of sharks in the human mind is formed. But what happens when you leave this safe zone and go even deeper? Strange phenomena begin. Just diving down about 200 meters, you will start to see changes. Light fades, the environment becomes darker, and sharks begin to carry unusual features. No longer perfect hunting machines like those above, but instead strange shapes begin to appear, as if the environment is forcing them to change. And the question is whether these deformations are merely random or if they serve a specific purpose. Basking sharks in largemouth evolution. In deeper waters, you will encounter the basking shark, a giant creature with a mouth so wide it could swallow a person whole. But the surprising thing is that it is not a fierce predator, but rather eats tiny organisms like plankton. Instead of chasing prey, it swims slowly with its mouth wide open to filter water. And this shows a completely different evolutionary direction, where body size and structure no longer serve direct predation, but rather the collection of a large amount of tiny food. The reason giant mouths exist: plankton may appear throughout the ocean, but are extremely small and scattered, which means that to survive on this food source, a creature must either be very small or extremely large. With the basking shark, the only choice was to become giant and develop a mouth large enough to filter thousands of liters of water with every swim. Every day they need to consume dozens of kilograms of plankton, and this can only be achieved by continuously filtering water, turning the giant mouth into a survival tool rather than a weapon. Saw sharks and predatory sensors. Entering the twilight zone, where light almost disappears, relying on vision becomes ineffective. And that's when the saw shark appears with a strange structure, a long snout lined with teeth like a saw. Instead of just using it to bite, it uses this snout as a sensory tool, detecting electrical signals from prey hidden under the sand, then swinging it back and forth to stun or capture the prey. This is a perfect alternative solution for hunting in the dark. The mysterious megamouth shark. At greater depths, the megamouth shark appears as a true mystery, with an extremely large mouth relative to its body. It also eats small creatures like krill, but its hunting method is still not fully understood. Some hypotheses suggest its mouth can reflect light to attract prey in the dark. But because sightings of this species are extremely rare, most of what we know remains at the level of hypothesis. Goblin sharks. As you move deeper into total darkness, you will encounter the goblin shark, a creature with a bizarre appearance, a long snout, and nearly translucent skin. But the most terrifying thing is the jaw that can snap forward at high speed in a food-scarce environment. It doesn't need to swim fast, but only needs to save energy and launch a precise attack when necessary, turning the jaw into its primary weapon instead of the entire body. Frilled sharks in squid hunting. At similar depths, the frilled shark takes on an eel-like shape with hundreds of sharp teeth, each tooth structured like a hook to help grip prey firmly, especially squid, a slippery and agile creature. Instead of biting and tearing, it creates a trap that once the prey touches, there is almost no chance of escape. The more it struggles, the deeper it gets stuck. Greenland sharks. One of the strangest creatures in the deep is the Greenland shark, or your They move extremely slowly, almost completely blind due to parasites, but have a lifespan of up to hundreds of years. Living in freezing environments causes all biological processes to slow down. And despite being slow, they remain top predators in their environment thanks to their sense of smell and the ability to detect electrical signals. Cookie cutter sharks. In even deeper regions, the cookie cutter shark has a completely different strategy. Instead of hunting in the usual way, it bites out circular chunks of flesh from larger prey, acting more like a parasite than a predator. It is noteworthy that it often lives in the deep during the day, but moves near the surface at night to find food, taking advantage of the deep environment to avoid enemies. Portuguese dogfish. At extreme depths, the Portuguese dogfish is one of the few species that can survive, with a body containing a large amount of oil in its liver to help it stay buoyant without expending energy, large eyes to detect faint light, and the ability to eat anything it finds. This is the most minimalist version of a shark, where everything unnecessary is discarded for survival. Biological limits of sharks. But no matter how well they adapt, sharks still have limits. Extreme pressure at depth causes proteins in the body to break down. And to counter that, they need a substance called TMAO. But when going too deep, the amount of this substance needed becomes too large and has adverse effects on the body, creating a natural limit that sharks cannot cross. Why there are no sharks in the deepest depths. Additionally, the body structure of sharks with skeletal structures, muscle, and thick tissue does not allow them to withstand extreme pressure. Unlike gelatinous creatures that can deform according to the environment, sharks cannot change their structure while maintaining their essence, which prevents them from existing in the deepest parts of the ocean. Unexplored mysteries. However, the ocean is still vast and not yet fully explored. Many shark species have been discovered by chance, which raises the possibility that there are still other species existing at depths we have never observed. And the question is what they will look like, and whether they will still resemble the concept of sharks that we know. As you go deeper into the ocean, sharks do not become stronger, but rather stranger, each transformation being the result of extreme environmental pressure. And if you found this journey interesting, please like the video and subscribe to the channel to discover more of the ocean's mysteries.